in such a society do you allocate positions? Well, there are actually, very, very significant answers to that. One is that you give them away as patronage. Another is that you buy them and sell them. So there was a huge market in jobs in these pre-meritocratic societies that, you would buy a job in the civil service, or you would buy a job as a tax collector. France was a particularly extreme example of this, but most pre-modern societies, had a market in jobs. Jobs were regarded as property. And one of the things that didn't exist in that world was the notion that there is a precise relationship between having a job and your ability to perform that job. So I quote the example in the book of a woman called Margaret Scott, who was the wet nurse to the Prince of Wales. In 1783, she was given a pension of £200 a year. And £200 a year in those days was a great deal of money, but it was also a great deal of money when you consider the fact that the Prince of Wales was 23 years old at the time, and so probably not in need of a wet nurse. But there just isn't a notion that a job is something you do, that you need to be qualified for, that is a set of commitments to your employer.
Okay, so let's take that apart for a minute, because partly what you're pointing to is that the idea of meritocracy is so deeply rooted in our culture that we assume that its existence is something akin to a natural fact.
And it's not a natural fact, and it's a fragile fact. It's something that we can lose very easily if we do the wrong things. So that's why I spend so much time talking about history, because what I want to prove in this book is it's something that was created historically and could be destroyed historically. We could move towards a non-meritocratic society, which is what worries me. So
so we assume now, I think, that if I have a job, my job, it doesn't really matter what the job is to produce something productive that other people value in as efficient a manner as possible at a cost that's less than what I'm paid.